it's probably 10 times harder to work in this field right now than it was just 3 years ago. And Tanya, you want to add kind of like what did he share with us about that? And how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience. In 2021, on this slide, as you can see, 1 out of 9 households were selling their homes, and you could feel it. You could see it. It was on the streets. So whenever you went to show a house, like there were multiple offers. It was totally different landscape, right?
Yep.
And now here we are, 2024. Again, on the slide, 1 out of 17 households are selling a home, and it's apparent you really have to work in order to get a seller. You can't just put your sign in the yard to sell that home either. So there's a lot of time and effort that goes into being an agent. It's not what it used to be, which is also probably a reason why people are even leaving the industry. So, I mean, it's just a totally different market just in a matter of 3 years, which is crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that the whole thing that I love about the slides is the fact that Robert actually put the facts in there, the statistics in there. But I mean, just think about it. It's takes literally what, for 1 out of 9, you got to talk to, I think you said 27 conversations. Now to get 1 out of 17, you got to have 51 conversations. So for all the folks out there who are trying to figure out, well, what exactly does that mean? Well, that means you got to talk to a whole lot more people. Now, the one thing that Robert reached out, talked about, said is it was about reaching out to people. Like before, maybe it was a whole lot of inbound calls coming in. Now it's going to be you having to make a whole lot of outbound calls. So that's why he said it's like 10 times harder. Not only is it gone from 1 to 9 to 1 out of 17, but the 1 out of 9 might have been a bunch of people calling you, maybe half calling you, half calling them. Now it's you reaching out to all 17. And if you're not willing to do that work because you need it to be easy, then maybe real estate's going to be really hard for you this year and next year probably. All right, so we'll go on to the next one. Something else that came up was his concept was back to basics, right? And you want to walk us through some of the stuff he shared with us there?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to going back to the way real estate was before all the hype and everything went crazy in the market and interest rates came down. We just kind of have to go back to what we used to do, which was, the proven methods that we were doing prior to, which for me was building those relationships and having conversations with people, not just posting on Instagram or YouTube, right? We actually have to get even deeper and have those conversations and speak one-on-one with our clients instead of relying on just basically shooting out an email and hoping that somebody responds, right?
Absolutely. Now, the crazy thing that Robert said is he was trying to drive home the point that we have to go back to basics, but you're not going to give up on the technology. It has to be supplemental. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think the whole point of going back to basics is what Robert discovered already. The 14% that most of us have kind of gotten away from because of social media and all the coaches out there that say, you don't need to door knock, you don't need to cold call. Well, maybe you don't. But in particular markets, you're not going to have as much business if you don't do those things. Now, if you're hitting your numbers, of course, that's not that big a deal. But for the people who have been hitting those numbers and now they're not, this is probably the reason why. And Robert was trying to make the point, hey, it was the way LPT is set up, because of the boxes we give people for listings, because of all the content we give people, you can go out there and do open houses and go out there and do these door knocking campaigns and all the things you probably haven't done in the past. And we already have those tools. But you got to go back to those basics to make those work. All right. And then we went on to the role of technology. I think we kind of touched on it a little bit. Yeah, it's for leverage, right? And I think as we see here, it enhances your efficiency. So for little things that you might have forgotten or might forget, this should be a way to remind you to do it, not to replace you, but to remind you. And then I think the second statement is avoiding over-reliance. Don't be so reliant on technology you forget to do what you're supposed to do. And it basically states, it should be a complement, not replace your fundamental business activities. And you did a great job of touching on that. It's like, say, you know what it's like to go through and knock on doors and talk to people face to face and what kind of relationships that establishes. So if you let technology replace you, then you're not really an agent. You're just basically trying to find the easy button. And that can't be your entire way of doing business, especially not in 2024.
Yeah, exactly. And people are relying on it. And that's the problem. They see technology and they're like, oh, I got an AI bot that could handle all my work for me, right? But
Mhm.
that's not the case. Like you have to be out there hustling because your AI bots are not going to do your job for you, even though whoever's selling you on it might tell you otherwise. You could
As
pay $500 a month and have an AI bot, but at the end of the day, those clients aren't going to be buying and selling with you. They may consider down the road, but you need to cultivate the relationship to keep moving forward.
Yep. And as you know, I love that word cultivate because that's really what I think. If you use technology the way it's designed, it will help you cultivate your leads. But there's absolutely no way. And I used to tell my team members all the time, you want to know why you missed the low hanging fruit? Because they want personalized service immediately. And guess what? The bots are designed for to postpone that. They literally are designed to keep that person engaged until you're able and ready to talk to them. Whereas the people who are ready to go look at a house today, if the bot's trying to set an appointment and they want to go see a house right now, it's not going to work. I want to go see a house right now. Well, can you set an appointment, please? Right. So that's what the AI does. Whereas if you actually were to answer the phone, when those people who are actually calling you say, hey, I just want to go take a look at the house right now. You meet them at the house and go, okay, well, this is the listing. If you want to purchase it, we need to put in an offer. I don't know if I like this one. Well, I can show you other homes, but if you're going to work with me specifically, and as you know, this is about to happen in August, I need you to sign a buyer rep agreement saying that it's okay for me to represent your interest and negotiate on your behalf. And so for everyone who's wondering, like, is technology going to be able to do all that for you? Think about that. It's not possible. It'd be, if they can figure out how to get people to sign buyer rep agreements at an appointment for you, that would be outstanding. But just like you said, it's more for keeping people engaged and cultivating them over time. And so I think that's probably the best way to look at technology going forward. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, and then there's trends and innovations. Anything you want to speak about on that one?
Just basically that obviously technology is getting more and more in depth with AI, and we have all of these tools, but it's still important to talk to your client. And these are great for me. I personally use like Chat GPT for like my posts online, like if I'm looking for a hook or something like that,
Yep.
which is great. But then if I want to continue to have a relationship with my client, it always goes back to having to build the
Have a
relationship. And
relationship. That's right. Relationships over revenue, right? And you got to be thinking that way. And I think when you, as you're talking, the word that comes to mind is integration. So I'm thinking, there's always going to be new technology, and as it comes up, you got to figure out how to integrate it, not let it replace the basics. So if you can learn as the trends and innovations change over time, which we're seeing right now as we speak, how do we integrate that without letting it take over our business and get rid of the most elemental or foundational elements that we should be thinking about on a regular basis? So yeah, I think just from just hearing you have that discussion, it literally makes me think integration. Let's make sure we integrate all the new trends and innovations that come up without forgetting about the personalized touch. All right. And then what did we find out from our CEO? I mean, it's unbelievable as it is. He talked about this last week. He talked about introducing LPT Plus, all the tools, the guidance we're going to get, the continuous learning, and the early access. He brought that up this week on Monday because it was supposed to come out at a certain point this year. And it looks like he's going to bump it up, like 3 weeks or something? Maybe in 3 weeks, I think is what I heard.
Yeah, he said as soon as possible, basically. So everybody's super excited about it.
Yep. And then on top of that, I'll go to this next slide because I think it touches the point even better. Not only did he say he's going to bump it up, but he said he's going to create weekly mastermind sessions. And as you see there, Robert Palmer himself will personally lead the weekly LPT Plus sessions, providing step-by-step instructions and interactive exercises. So we're talking about assignment-based mastermind, which obviously you and I are very familiar with that concept. So
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, and it all comes with the LPT Plus membership. And one thing that he mentioned on the call that I thought was cool was that he's going to incorporate like all the tools that we're getting for that fee, and then have that assignment based on that tool, right? So
yes,
I think one of them was zoology, which is, or what, I don't even know if I said it right.
do something
The
else. Yeah.
yeah, the cash offer that one, maybe they do like a practice where you send out emails to your people who might be interested in getting a cash offer. And then you come back to the mastermind and discuss like who got any results from this, how can we implement it to make it better, and just hold each other accountable. Like that's the whole point of a mastermind at the end of the day. So I love that part of it. And the fact that Robert Palmer is going to be leading it just makes it that much cooler.
Yeah, and we were talking about it. It's interesting because our actual mastermind is designed exactly that way. So it's kind of uncanny. I mean, I'm thinking, wow, we set this up 5 weeks ago, and a billionaire is actually doing the same thing. So it can't be the wrong choice. But we're looking at it from the standpoint like assignment based. Now, what we did discover is rather than try to dish out long assignments, maybe one element at a time. So it sounds like Robert's kind of thinking like, you know what, exactly what you said. If we're going to talk about probate, don't go through the entire exercise of probate. Just think about the letter we're going to send out. We're going to send out one letter this week on probate and see what kind of results you get. And then for those that get results, as you and I know in our mastermind, we literally have people talk about their wins. And it's extremely interesting because not everybody's going to do every assignment. We know that. But what you do notice is everyone that's involved in the group, even when they're listening to the one person who did the assignment, they're all extremely satisfied, grateful. They're excited because they're getting to pick up different information from different people. And what I love most about masterminds, especially this format, is number one, it has a format, right? Instead of you just kind of going in and guessing and wondering. But number two, the weekly wins allow us to grow exponentially. We get to put multiple tools in our toolkit versus just maybe you or me presenting what we think we know and going, well, this is what I would have done. But now you got multiple people saying, this is actually what I did, and here's how it worked for me. And now I think that format is what really attracted me to when I heard Robert's doing it. I'm like, well, we have the same thing going on, but who better to teach the LPT version of all this than Robert Palmer himself?
Yep, it's cool. I was really excited to see that he was doing that.
Yep. And so that's kind of the whole concept for us when it comes to recapping these meetings, is to kind of give you kind of an overview of everything that was going on and kind of integrate it with what we're doing as well as dynamic agents. That's what our mastermind is for. But it's also to kind of share with you that there's other options. If you're going to be part of the dynamic agent group, fantastic. If not, then at least you know LPT is available to you regardless of how you join or what you join. We just know that our CEO is definitely in line with what we do. So the agent choice, real estate first, all the stuff that we're doing falls in line with what he likes to do. And in return, it elevates our business, right? So that's kind of the final thing we have here. And anything you want to walk through here with this Elevate Your Business slide?
This is just basically everything that we do talk about in the mastermind, which is kind of funny because it's prospecting, which is essentially getting Facebook leads, right? We've gone over that in day one or week one or whatever the case. And then streamline workflows, which is setting up the email drips and the 13 weeks or whatever it ends up being, that comes in there. And then your personalized guidance, which is going to be keeping up with those clients, especially the ones that are coming out of the funnel. The funnel.
Yes, the funnel / pipeline, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those people are going to be the ones that you want to give that personalization to. So the technology takes place in the first two, and then you're going to have to take over in the third round and get those people closed.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, all in all, I think we may have done it first, but we know our CEO is doing the same thing. And being that he's a billionaire, I think he probably has a little bit better insights than we have. But there's nothing better than having this reinforced with our CEO kind of following the pattern that we're doing. Not that he got it from us, but the fact that it's something that sounds like the industry is needing. They need to go back to the basics and still be able to integrate the technology with personal guidance. So I think when you put that together, you can have a better package or better program.
This is, again, the recap of the Motivational Monday. We're going to keep on doing these every week and look forward to seeing you guys on the next Motivational Wednesday, because that's when we'll be posting it.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Again, I'm Julian Jackson, and this is
Tanya Lechner with Dynamic Agents.
With the Dynamic Agents, that's absolutely it. And of course, when you guys get a chance to look over this on your own time and think about some of the comments that we have, or add your comments into our YouTube channels, if you want to reach out to either one of us, there should be a link provided there for you to reach out. And if you want to further this discussion, we'll be ready. All right, until then, we'll see you next time.